Tonight, WWE will hold its 13th annual Extreme Rules event, with 6 matches announced for the card so far. With 5 title matches on the show alone, tonight's show could dramatically change the main roster dynamic before next week's draft, and we're going to run through the matches, our predictions, and any surprises that could happen during the show. Number 6. Becky Lynch vs Bianca Belair. At SummerSlam, Becky Lynch made her shocking return to WWE, squashing Bianca Belair in seconds to become SmackDown Women's Champion, leaving fans who'd got invested in the EST for months feeling cheated. Tonight, we'll see a far more competitive match from the two, as fans are curious to see how Lynch will fare in only her second televised match since returning from her lengthy absence. With just 6 matches on the card, this encounter should be given plenty of time to breathe, and we expect that WWE, realizing the fan backlash from SummerSlam, will book Belair strong on the show. With that said, we're predicting Lynch will retain, but it won't be clean, and we wouldn't be surprised if the newly heel Lynch used Bianca's hair to get the advantage. What WWE needs to avoid is making Lynch another Roman Reigns, a heel champion who fans know isn't losing the title soon, as that idea works well for him, but should be a one-off. We also predict that the action won't end after the match, as Sasha Banks will make her return, attacking both Lynch and Belair. Belair was the one who dethroned Banks at WrestleMania, while Lynch was Banks' replacement at SummerSlam, and when the dust is settled, it could be the Boss standing tall as the third woman in the title picture. Number 5. Damien Priest vs Sheamus vs Jeff Hardy. WWE's program between Damien Priest and Sheamus has dragged out for longer than fans expected, which is probably why Jeff Hardy has been added to the story. Despite some shaky booking, Jeff is still a talented performer and over with the crowd, arguably more popular than the US champion himself. Unless WWE is planning on moving Priest to a feud with Hardy, the Archer of Infamy needs a fresh title feud, as there's plenty of talented wrestlers on Raw who could do with a push. There'll be even more new faces after the WWE draft, and we expect Priest to retain tonight before moving on to someone entirely new. Perhaps Ricochet could finally return to the US title picture, or maybe Priest could lock horns with Keith Lee, especially if the rumors of a heel turn for the Bearcat are accurate. Though no stipulation has been announced for tonight's match, the triple threat nature naturally makes it a no disqualification match, but we're hoping WWE shake things up by making it a ladder match. A ladder match is something that all 3 men could excel in, and what better way to push Priest's star even further than having him literally climb the ladder of success over the 2 former world champions. Number 4. Charlotte Flair vs Alexa Bliss. In what may be the most bizarre Raw Women's title match in recent memory, the heel champion will be defending against a face who is more used to tricks and spectacle than actual wrestling. That's not to say Bliss can't wrestle, because she certainly can, but it's not up to her, as WWE seems more interested in her being a demonic character than a wrestler. This is the latest issue in the 2021 Raw Women's division, which has seen bizarre booking with no rhyme or reason, and a series of short-term champions, which is seemingly just to boost the number of reigns for Charlotte Flair. WWE needs to decide on a direction for the division, especially as new names will soon be on Raw thanks to the upcoming draft. If the company want to establish Bliss as more than a novelty act, then they need to prove that she's still a wrestler. Otherwise, her opponents, especially Flair, will look foolish by being tricked with her smoke and mirrors tricks. Finding a middle ground for Bliss as a wrestler and a spectacle will be difficult for Raw's creative team and its writers, but it's something that needs to be done soon. WWE needs to establish Bliss as more than just a poor man's fiend, and they could certainly do so by having Bliss bust out some surprising moves tonight, defeating Flair to become the new Raw Women's Champion. Bliss winning tonight seems likely, but we'll have to see if a title change happens because WWE want to make something more of the demonic character, or if it'll just be another short run, ended by the Queen, who gets ever closer to her father's 16 reigns. Number 3. The Usos vs the Street Profits. The Usos have been at their very best since returning, having a fantastic feud with the Mysterios, and could have another great story with the Street Profits tonight. This story may not have had much build, but the talent and charisma helps, as these teams could wrestle for the remainder of 2021 without fans getting bored. The only issue is how hard WWE have been pushing the Bloodline, which makes a tag title switch tonight unlikely. Despite an energetic performance by the Profits, expect the Usos to retain tonight. And like the US title match, this too could benefit from adding a stipulation. If the ladder match stipulation is already claimed, then this could make for a fantastic tables match, but whatever the stipulation is, expect the Usos to retain tonight. Number 2. Liv Morgan vs Carmella. It's always good to see WWE push female talent in storylines other than championship feuds, and this match could do a lot for the career of Liv Morgan. Morgan seemed ready for a singles push last year until WWE reformed the Riot Squad, but with Ruby Soho gone, the future is wide open for the 27-year-old SmackDown superstar. Liv Morgan definitely needs to make the most of this opportunity or risk being lost in the shuffle as more names are brought up in subsequent years, and tonight's encounter could easily determine whether WWE will give her a major singles push. A great performance against Carmella would go a long way to impress the right people backstage, who seem to always be fond of Carmella, despite how many losses the Staten Island Princess racks up. Losing tonight to Morgan won't hurt the former SmackDown Women's Champion, but it will do wonders for Morgan, even if WWE's inconsistent booking means that nothing is guaranteed when it comes to a push. Our prediction is that Liv Morgan wins the match, but the story of what this could mean for her career in the coming weeks, months, and years is far more interesting than the little build this story has had on screen. Number 1. Roman Reigns vs the Demon Finn Balor. In what'll unquestionably be the main event, Universal Champion Roman Reigns will defend against Finn Balor in what has been confirmed as an Extreme Rules match. This entire show feels like a filler event between SummerSlam and Crown Jewel, with Survivor Series in November, and we fully expect another routine successful title defense by the Tribal Chief. Balor may have adopted his demon persona, but nobody believes he'll win, especially with Reigns on course for a title match with Brock Lesnar next month in Saudi Arabia. Even in defeat, Reigns makes his opponents look good, but this story feels somewhat lazy with the booking, and even the return of the Demon hasn't set the world on fire. Balor's alter ego has lost just one match in WWE, so Reigns definitely shouldn't squash him, but the temptation will be there for WWE if they want to try to build him up even more before the Lesnar match. The Extreme stipulation could help make this match a classic, but right now, the bout feels more like an afterthought on Reigns' path to bigger things. A successful title defense is all but guaranteed, but Reigns' victory could be short-lived yet again thanks to a returning Lesnar, and the closing moments of the night could be used to hype up Crown Jewel. These are our picks for tonight's show, but what do you think? Which titles do you think will change hands? And do you predict any big returns? Let us know in the comments, and thanks for watching. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.